Doing? Huh? No, no. No, don't go over there. What are you doing? Huh? No, no. Hey, hey. I had a guy today that said he wanted to see you. Oh, man. Yeah, buddy, I'm just trying to show you off on camera. You had somebody that wanted to see you out there in the world. He's like, I want to see the dog you're always talking about. That's my little black lab. I think he was the runt of the litter, but he sure is a good dog. Big bark. Big full-size big dog bark. Okay. I came out and I talked about this the other day. This is part number LT31705. This is made by EPD. And this is the direct drop-in bolt-in replacement for a KenWood Tl-922a filament transformer. So we're going to take that transformer and we're going to put it into an amp today and we're going to test it. Now, that isn't a small feat, because the Tl-922a that I got to test this thing with, I've had here for 3.5 years, waiting, and waiting. Hold on. I mean waiting and waiting. That is a legit filament transformer from KenWood. Here's our direct bolt-in replacement. We ended up scoring on 2 KenWood Tl-922a's at a hamfest, me and Zane at Big Rig Radio. We bought them from the guy and he says, well, there's a small problem. We're like, oh yeah? And he goes, yeah, the small problem is that there's something wrong with the filament transformer. I went, oh. No, there's not. I already knew what was wrong when the guy was telling me about what was going on over the phone. So we bought both of them. One of them was missing the filament transformer. The other one was completely intact. Well, we get them up here to the healing bench and we go and we hook the transformers up, or the amplifiers up, and come to find out they're wired for 220 and they've got a 110 plug on them. So we got a perfectly good KenWood Tl-922a minus the filament transformer. Well, the other one we converted over to 110 and it took off and ran great. Just good to go. Running down the road with its hair on fire, sold it, gone. Well, it took us 3 years watching eBay and looking for them religiously at hamfests, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, this one was found off of the HRO or QRZ or whatever, one of them forums, or eBay, or I don't know. Mr. Zane at Big Rig found this. Okay. Well, he in turn drop shipped it directly to Peter. Well, Peter got right on this in a heartbeat for me and made this transformer, because if you do a search for KenWood Tl-922a replacement transformer, there's about 7,000 threads out there, 70 gajillion, probably like 10, threads where people are looking for a replacement transformer for various different reasons, and there's zero to be had. So we're going to keep the original. We're going to set it aside just in case we have some problems. But I know for a fact that we won't. Peter built good shit. Just end of the conversation. Peter builds good shit. So we are going to go and we're going to put this in on this Tl-922a. But I've got to move probably a third of the stuff that's in the in-process pile over there to get down to this Tl-922a. And it's going to take an hour and a half to 2 hours to get it out of there. But I'm willing to do whatever it takes for YouTube porn for you guys to watch. Just saying. I'm going to be dirty, I'm going to be sweaty, and I'm going to be grumpy when I come back. But we're going to get that amplifier. And do I got some cool stuff I got lined up to work on someday if I can ever get that far. And people don't call and scream at me and yell and want it back. You wouldn't believe all the shit I just had to move. Holy smokes. This thing was all the way at the very bottom of the pile. I mean, it was at the bottom. It's been so long since I looked at this. I can't remember if I got tubes in this thing. I don't remember anything about this. No tubes. Okay. So, inside this thing is spotless. Like, the guys that bought it, I don't know what the hell, but there's all the screws. And we're gonna have to probably replace the light bulbs if I remember correctly. I have that technology. Look at the inside of this thing. It's like virginal in here. It's clean, clean, clean. Clean, clean, clean. But where we want to go is the bottom. So hold on. See, this is one of these deals where you're like, I know there's money here. I've said 3 or 4 times to my buddy Zane, I'm like, bro, we might as well just take this thing apart and bust it up for parts, sell it on eBay. Because we ain't never, I'm quoting myself here, we ain't never ever gonna find a goddamn transformer for this thing. Look at this. Isn't that pretty? And if I'm not mistaken, it's already had the 11 meter mod done to it, 10 meter mod. And this amp internally is titties. Somebody was a jackwagon. But they were cool enough, I do believe, to give us all the screws. Oh, here's a love letter from God. Okay, so I don't want to make anybody feel stupid. We'll dial this down a little bit even more. There we go. 110 volt, 100 volt, 0 white. They gave us a cheat sheet, a cheat guide. This is going to go pretty quick, I do think. I mean, it's going to go really quick. I got to bring the transformer in through the... Hey, got the factory mounting hardware. That's awesome. The transformer's got to go in through this side. Down in through here. So some more disassembly is required. I know a guy with a screwdriver and a motivated sense of mind. I think I got a brand new set of RF parts 3500Zs we could probably put in here that are mine. They're my backup set to that set. This is going to go pretty slick, I think. Or does this whole plate come out and fold out like an accordion, maybe? Let me get where you're at. Let me stand right where you guys are standing right now with the camera and this big tripod and this big giant thing that I video everything on. And let me look at this a little bit more. All those of us here today at Sky News BBI, we're going to check in on the local weather and traffic with Sky News Dave. Hey, Sky News Dave, come join us. Yeah. Hi, John at BBI News. Yeah, so it looks like today traffic in the 5 on the north is a little congested, but BBI has finally figured out how to install the filament transformer. Back to you, John, at the desk. Okay. Wish you should have had the Harlem Globetrotters music playing in the background as I've been sitting here going, oh, does it go in like this? can't slide it in like this. Will it fit here? Almost, man, but it's all tight. Like, can I spit on it and make it slide in? Is it 2 fingers, 3 fingers? What do we got to do here? Like, we got to go into the elbow. What do we got to do? And it dawns on me that this guy, whoever this person was that took this apart, and I know exactly who you are and I know where you live. I'm just not saying anything. Okay. Honestly thought that there was something wrong with the filament transformer, so he did it right. He took this out this direction and it comes out through the side. But we've got to remove these 2 screws here and here because these 2 screws have already been removed. But if I'm not mistaken, these screws are part of the shielding here. I think I took off when I was initially looking at this thing a million years ago. Or maybe not. Make a liar out of me, come on. Yeah, screw goes to here. No. These 2 screws have already been removed. So, needless to say, if I pop these 2 screws out, slide this down and out, which will look amazingly like this. That screw. And this screw. There's a reason that this exact same almost carbon copy of a Heath kit is so much better than the Heath kit. Why do you think I say that? Well, I know why I say that. Because it's better than a Heath kit. It's because of the cage construction. Whoa, let me interrupt the video that you guys are watching. I'm in post-production, I'm editing it, and I'm watching it as I'm assembling the thing. Today I'm taking this thing apart and I'm putting all the shields inside of it. I pulled the tubes out and reboxed them. What I mean by this is better than the SP220 is, well, it's better than the SP220. The SP220 is a very legendary, wonderful piece of equipment. I love them. Very close, near dear to my heart. Please understand that. The problem with the SP220 is it's very delicate. The metal that they made it out of was very soft, and of course they were shipped back in the day when people actually gave a shit about their jobs and they cared about the packages that they were shipping. Today no one gives a shit about it. We have automated shipping systems and people throw and kick shit like it's going out of style. The SP220 pan is really thin and has a tendency to bend into form. This is basically the same circuit. This uses a voltage doubler on the power supply. The filament transformer basically acts like a filter for the rest of the amp, physical decoupling of course. This is basically the same thing, but built like a tank. And not like, you know, this is built like an Abrams tank. It is beefy, it is hardcore. The cage construction keeps everything from getting bent in shipping. These things will run, and we'll all be long dead and gone and dust in the ground, and our kids are still gonna be trying to figure out what to do with these. The only thing I've ever had damaged, ever, is this piece of glass. I got a chip in one of these when I shipped it one time. Now the SP220s, I've had them completely get mangled and destroyed. Hence the reason we went to shipping everything in crates. But I wanted to clarify, this is basically an SP220 on steroids with a harder, better frame and construction, better transformer also. It's just better. A little bit better. A lot better. Kinda. But I want to clarify that. Okay, back to the video, you guys. So we'll drop this switch out. The SB220, when I ship these things out of here, they are a pain in the arsehole. Pain in the arsehole. Come on, switch. There we go. Now I can slide you out. Push you wires up out of the way. Okay, now let's prep our replacement transformer. Guys that are going to try and copy this, the 10.7 volt 15 amp center tap 80 volt 0.20 8 volt and 1.40 volt goes to the back of the amplifier, and it's going to go in like this. So all your voltage taps on the front, and the one that says 15A, we're going to orientate it so it sits in here like this. So just like that. Now, this is going to be fun. Come on. Come on, like a glove. Oh, God bless you, Peter. Okay. Let's get one more started. I think it might be time to get ourselves a deep well socket. I think that time is now. There we go. God, it dropped right in like it was custom designed to go in that little hole. I could have called up Peter. Don't get me wrong. Let me put my tools away here. I could have called up Peter and said, hey, make me a transformer. And he would have said, cool, what's the dimensions of it? And I would immediately had to pause and been like, oh, I don't know. Because unless I've got one that I can physically like measure, I mean, it's not like I can just get on Google and say, what are the dimensions of a KenWood 922a filament transformer, post, pinout, and the spacing of the leads. I might have been able to find it. Doubt it. Would I know for sure it was an exact match? Probably not. But the fact that, okay, we're going to just wait and we're going to find ourselves a filament transformer so we can put it in the guy's hands to, like, he could load the transformer on his little test bench. You think that the guy that builds transformers probably has a test bench of some kind that he can load everything and check all the voltages? I've seen it. It's impressive. He does. It exists. It's a thing. For him to be able to physically put his hands on it, put it in his hands and have a set of dial calipers and he can measure everything, kick ass. Way better than trying to build it off a set of prints, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. Okay. Now the easy bit. We're going to put this switch and then this whole control assembly, we're going to slap it back together. And then we're going to come through and we're going to very systematically rewire this back together in one piece. So let's get this put together and then let's get the amp flipped upside down on its lid and let's do some work. Okay, so before I start, I want to say really clearly that it is important when doing this kind of work that you think about things in multiple dimensions and think about things on a different level. Some of these connections are going to get a little warm, so just taking the wire and soldering it on there is not acceptable. We're going to have to strip back all of this mess off of each one of these things, create a new clean piece of wire and go through the eyelet and wrap it around, and then be able to solder it on every single connection, including our heavy leads over here. Okay. Just saying. I might end up replacing all of these ground leads. We will see. But I'm going to do my best to clean this up and make it look all nice and pretty and new again. So I got to be right where you're standing. So we're going to show you before. And when we come back, or maybe midway, I'll pop back in and show you how we're doing. I'm telling you, through the hole, give it a couple wraps, then back, then solder. And then you got to think about clearance in the lid. Like this wire here, the 0 tap for this lead, which is, I believe, the red wire. I'm going to look at my diagram. Yep, red. I've got to attach, physically, mechanically attach it. So that means I'm going to probably take some like 22 gauge and run it through the eyelet a couple times and create a little hoop basket, then sink the wire into it and then pull that tight and then twist lock that in place with, you know, twist the wire around it a couple times to have a physical mechanical connection. Just like everything else in here. Oh yeah, by the way, from the factory, 3500Z, ground the grid, 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 ground the grids. But NT blah 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 has got a web page where it says that you're supposed to put a capacitor and a resistor and underneath the shade of the Sailin' Moon, because he's got a degree from Lickum Snickum Snatch. He's more knowledgeable than you, and you don't know what you're talking about, BBI. Yeah, okay. Ground the grids, ground the grids, ground the grids on your 3500Zs. No chokes necessary. Ground the grids. KenWood, Henry, Drake, all disagree. Just my opinion. Just thought I'd share it with you. Didn't want to offend anybody. Hope I didn't hurt a feeling. Ground the goddamn grids. Don't want to hurt anybody's feeling. Ground the grids. Living on this endless road. Around the world for rock and roll. Sometimes it feels so tough, but I still ain't had enough. But baby, I know you're a liar. I said I'm feeling alright amongst the noise and the lines. But that's what lights my fire. Hellraiser. And when I come for you, Hellraiser, I wanna spin like you. Tied connections. Physical safe tied connections, you guys. That's what we're going after here. So we're in here like heart surgeons, taking butchered up garbage and making it pretty and putting it back into the amateur radio community where somebody else can play with it. Makes me happy, boys and girls. I live for this kind of stuff. I put up with all the other BS to be able to do these one-off little projects to help everybody, believe it or not. All the BS of people screaming at me and the stress of having to deal with everybody being upset because their amp hasn't gotten done yet or whatever. Put marine grade heat shrink on that. Now it's tied, soldered, good. Oh, good ½ inch of clearance, easy. Okay, well, it's a little bit more work than what you think, but it's in there perfect now. I replaced all these black wires with Teflon, of course. So everything is pushed through, wrapped around twice. So it comes through the hole, wraps around, comes back, and then soldered. The 100 and the 100 are not utilized in this particular model for this wiring. There are certain models that have a blue lead, or pardon me, an orange lead that attach here to this 100 volt unit. We're not seeing it though. It's just not here. It's not in this particular setup. So it's, I think I'm good. Let's get the side plate on it. Let's get one more step closer to getting this thing done. And if you need to know how to wire it, go ahead and pause it. This is your color code. Nothing replicates. So you got dual blue that comes from this side of the cabinet, and a blue that comes from this side of the cabinet. Then a blue wire here. 0, 120 red. Okay. Questioning to myself, boys and girls, because I'm sitting here and I'm counting. I got screws here, 1, 2, 3 here, the screws that are over here, right? But the really important screws are the countersunk screws that go here, which I need 5. Well, over here I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then over here, to hold this mess together over here, I need 1 screw here, 1 screw here, another screw here, another screw here, because I was questioning if I had enough hardware for that. I got 1, 2, 3, 4. So I got enough hardware for that. But these are machine screws. They're sheet metal screws. They're not fine coarse thread. So I can go over here and I can literally, there's a ton of space here down this edge. So I got a couple extra screws. We'll make this happen. Where I don't want to have extra screws hanging down is in here, because there's a high voltage knockout pin and a bunch of other schmiet. So let's get the safety interlock / shmoo board here all locked down. And I want to tighten these screws up. It looks like it's missing a screw there. So he pulled the capacitor bank out for some frickin' reason to change that transformer out. Yay. Okay. We're getting close. We're going to put tubes in it and we're going to light it here in a few minutes. But we're going to light it slowly. So I want to check one thing here before we go any further, because I'm about ready to drop the tubes in this thing. But I want to get it to where I can still move it around and not have to worry about breaking filaments or anything. Okay. For operation in 110 volt configuration, we jump leads 1 and 2, 5 and 6, 7 and 8 together. For operation in 220 volts, we're going to jump leads 6 and 7 together. 110 volt plug. How in the hell is that even wired? Let's go in here and let's look at it. So we want to have, for 110 volt operation, we want to have these two jumpers hooked together. Then we want to have these two jumpers bare, okay? Then we want to have these two jumpers put together and then these two leads put together for 110 volt operation. In the manual on page number 7, spare shorting bars are secured at terminals 3 and 4 because there's nothing, they're dead terminals. And this is for 240 volts. Tie terminals 6 and 7 together. For 110 volt operational settings, all right, you're going to tie terminals 8, 7, 6, 5, 1, 2 together. So this is wired 220 at the moment with 2 dead spaces here, which I'm sure I covered this when I looked at the other one, its paired partner, back in 2008. Mr. Payne of the Dave Made community Thinking about you right now, man. These are RF parts match tubes. And you're gonna get them in this box. And even in the box, by the way, is the warranty card for the tubes. So you immediately get that when you get the tubes, you fill it out. Put me down as the vendor, by the way. That'll piss Merritt off. Okay. On the phone right now with my buddy Zane at Big Rig Radio, and we were just looking at the last couple times I did a video on one of these. It was 2018, and then the other quick reference on the Gargler is Mr. Carlson's lab. And he goes, "Do you think Mr. Carlson watches your YouTube videos?" And I would only be so grateful if he did, because I'm a big fan of Mr. Carlson's lab. Always wondered where he got his education, because he's a young whippersnapper like myself, so kind of wonder, is he like the rest of us and kind of got homeschooled, homebrewed? I don't know. I'm not a big enough fan to where I've watched all his videos, because there's a lot of them. It's kind of like me at this point. I think you'd really be hard pressed to watch all the YouTube videos I've produced. I mean, I can't even tell you, 2,000 or 3,000 public ones at this point. There's a lot, anyhow. And he's in the same boat. He's got a lot of projects. He's got a cool lab he's getting ready to build. I'd really like to expand out like he's done, though. Someday, somewhere over the rainbow. Let's flip this around. Let's put the Variac on it, and let's see how many lamps I got to replace. Yay. By the way, thanks, Payne. Appreciate the tubes, buddy. This is where they ended up. Okay, boys and girls, here we go. Power's in the on position. Interlock is engaged. Cardboard interlock bypass is engaged. Safety third. Got it on the low voltage setting. Here we go. High voltage is coming up. Clack. Here come our filaments. Oh, Variac's coming up smooth. God bless you, Peter. That is the soft glow of success. See that soft glow? Yeah. So the lights, everything goes through that filament transformer, everything. It's all controlled by the filament transformer. So now we're going to run this for a hot minute, and then I'm going to shut it down and bleed off the high voltage. I'm going to flip it over, and we're going to go run it again on its side, because I want to look at that filament transformer underneath operation and load. Because right now it's under its constant full load. The filament transformer doesn't work any harder at all. The only thing that actually starts working hard in here is the plate transformer when we go into operation. And the only other thing that it could possibly give us a problem is when we go into zero signal, but that's going to be the Zener that's on the bottom side of the cabinet down by the, let's say, passive operation. If I've got everything set up properly, the lights should come on the front, which they are. Cool, these lights are working. The only thing I got left to test now is the on-air light, which I'm going to need a foot pedal for, but got good high voltage. Let's bleed that down. So it means we've got high voltage supply is golden. I'm happy. Let's go ahead and shut this all the way down. We'll wait for this to go to zero. We'll neutralize the high voltage circuit, flip it on its side, and we're going to run it again. 80 degrees, I'll take that all day long. Since the whole wire itself is 76 degrees, the main connection for the filament, 85.9. 88. Let's sit here and watch it. If it gets much over 100 though, we're going to have to think about cutting that connector away and making sure we got a good solid joint there. Filament pins are looking good. They're roughly 100 degrees. Let's see here. How did my leads get reversed? Sons of a gun. Perfect. Good job, Peter. Beautiful. $95.2. Good. That makes me happy. Now this is where we check for transformer core temperature. Oh, that feeds the plate transformer. Huh. Sorry, you guys. I keep forgetting that I'm on camera and I'm over here just thinking out loud. Let's bring that to high. Now the way this thing is set up is it kind of pulls the fresh air in from the bottom and it pulls it in from this side of the amp. So there would be airflow through here, but I don't think 80 or 90 degrees on a connection is that hot, in my opinion. But what I am excited to see is Zero, yep. Beauty. Yep. 113, yep. Yep. Cool. What I am excited to see is that the core of the transformer is not heating too hard. So now when we step on the pedal here in a second, even though we don't have any plate voltage applied, let's click that over to operate. What we're going to be bringing into line is this circuit, which is the Zener. And that's how we're controlling our center tap. Awesome. Bleeders look good. And okay, this is where we put the bottom on it, and first we're going to let the high voltage bleed off, so then we can put our dingle beaters all over the thing, and we don't have to worry about going on to CGJ. Angels of God. Let's put the bottom on it so we can start getting airflow going the right direction through this cabinet, for the most part. Ish. Kinda. I think. Okay, so this is the joint that was getting warm. I honestly don't think I had a very good connection going on. So what I want to do is I want to take, well, I've done it. I've taken this whole thing apart and I want to change it because I don't trust what I just saw, right? If that makes any sense to anybody. That joint was getting entirely too hot for the little piss-ass amount of current that was going through it. And that was screaming to me that we didn't have a good connection. And that's why we got tools to say, hey dude, you messed up, or hey dude, this isn't right. And so we will take this apart like we've done here. And we're going to retie this joint and make sure it's good and tight and got a good gluing job, because that's all solder is glue. It's a low resistance glue. So I would rather err on the side of caution and redo this joint and test it than I would rather be cocky and arrogant and go, oh, it's perfect. No, it's fine. It's okay to sit there at 80 or 90 degrees. It's fine. I mean, what's this cost me? 5 minutes of my life? Okay. Let's let that cool down slow. The heat shrink isn't necessary, it's just me. Okay. All right. Let's let this joint cool down a little bit. and then we'll try this again. And I expect that we'll see, and I'm serious now, I'm pretty sure that we'll see that that joint's much cooler, which is good in my opinion. Yep. Okay. Okay, so we've been running now for about 15 minutes, just sitting here idling along. Now, I think the last time we measured this, that joint here was in the 90s. Cannot save. What? Okay, let's try this again. That joint was in the 90s, I do believe. So, it's 76 degrees. Much cooler. Much more better. It's not no almost 100 degree now. It's nice and cool. Both of them are balanced. We got good solder joints. I'm going to throw this in the wind pile. All right, let's move on. So we've got this plugged into our dedicated 25 amp 110 outlet. On high voltage setting, off, on. Looking good. Good zero signal. Means we're ready to go play with this thing. So, my question is, does it have the magic operation outside of band? What I mean by that is 180, on up to 80 meters. There's 21. We've got that extra position. Hello. Talk through it, no problem. Oh. Oh, yes, it does. 1 2 1 2. Yes, sir. Now the question is, these pain tubes, and I keep saying Pain because he's a human being. His name is Pain. His handle is Pain, anyhow. And he comes from the Dave May camp. He's a mutual friend of mine, and Zane's down there at Big Rig Radio. And these are his tubes that we bought from him when I was in Phoenix. Hello, audio. Okay. Hello, audio. Okay, what I'm putting into this for drive. It's a 10-to-1 amplifier. So approximately I should get 10 watts for every 1 watt I put in. Hello, audio. Yep, off. Hello, audio. Hello. Winning. Big time winning. Okay. Let's turn this down again. That's one of the things I seriously am saddened about with this beautiful big camera I got, is that it doesn't have an auto. Oh, I could push this one button and it'd be auto everything, but then it'd be all dark and crazy all the time. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's jump this on up. We're going to run this with the striker. 955 here. And I haven't leaned back like this on the workbench. You should see me now. You can't because I got zoomed in on the meters, but I'm laying back here sticking my hands behind this box. I cannot get over how much dirt is right here in this spot, right here. That shit's getting cleaning tomorrow. Okay, so let's shut down the 955 or the 2950. We'll get over on the striker. Hello, audio. Keep on coming. Come on up, voltage. Okay, so 10 to 1. Hello, audio. Put about 120, 130 watts in it. Hello. Hello. Let's look at our grid meter. Hello. 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 I'm tuning by the grid meter. Sorry, guys. I'm down here looking at this meter here. Focus. 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 Okay. High voltage meter. Hello, 1, 2. Hello, 1, 2. Hello, 1, 2. Oh, yeah. Explain to you guys what's going on here. Actually, you're in the way. So this has been off for some time. I've been blowing air on it. I just changed one. Do that. Do this. Back that off. So I have a thing. I'll give a crap how scuzzy the tube looks. It's got to put out full power. Okay, and I don't want to say these are bad, but they're not full, if that makes any sense. This is a brand new 3500Z, and what I was noticing was this tube here was working harder than the tube that was over here, which is this one here. And so I reached back in the shelf and I grabbed a brand new 3500Z and I put it in there. And then I was able to get over 1,000 watts. I couldn't get it with this one tube, this tube on this side, and this other tube over here to do over 1,000 watts with 200 watts of drive, or 125 watts of drive. So then I switched out this tube to a brand new one, and it was coming up to like 2200, but it was struggling to get in there. And I'm like, I can't. I got a brand new set of tubes here. Let's just go ahead and stick them in. So, brand new, never been used before. Oh, I gotta do the air bottle test on this one first. Okay, what we're doing is, without having high voltage on it, even though it's a brand new tube, I don't take anything for granted. We turn it on, lit the filament, and make sure that the tube doesn't fill up full of smoke. The reason I gotta have gloves on is because the thing's hot. Well, these were hot. I mean, this one was ding, 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 ding. Ding, 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 ding. Wasn't, it's just not doing it. This one here was ding, one bell was getting hot and that was it. So this tube is flat. This tube is better, like this is probably 80%. These are brand new, like 100% brand new. Okay, meter's at 0. Okay. Slide that down there. You don't have to crush it. It's not like you're working on your sister's car or something. You just got to barely snug those screws up. Okay. Let's see what we got now. So we're in PEP here, and we're in the 5X position. Put about 200 in it. Very much, here we go. 2400, pretty consistent now. Okay, let's set ourselves up for a max drive test. What we got going on here is the bench 2 pill getting hit by the 2950. And please don't make me reach across this amplifier. I don't want to do it, you guys. I'm just gonna have to take my word for it. Okay, I can't do that. It's not morally correct. Sorry. Okay, now we're on 1X. About 230 watts, 250 watts is all we're going to put in this thing. Now I haven't loaded this out yet, so just bear with me here. $3,000. Perfect. That's what it should do with brand new tubes. Everything in it, 250 watts or so, 260 watts, $3,000. 10 to 1. Yay! Yay, everything works on this thing perfectly. Now the next step is to go load it for 160 or 180, pardon me, 80 meters and so on. Whew. God, what time is it? It feels like it's 3 o'clock in the morning. Okay, boys, we're going to work with the bench ICOM 7300. The plate for 160 is here. Yeah, we're right here at the edge of 7 and about a 2.5. This is on the 2000 watt scale on the meter here. So, with 100 watts worth of drive going in. About 1450 and some change. So just a hair below legal limit with only 100 watts worth of drive. And to actually prove that that number's right, because I'm not doing this again, I'm going to go back. We're on 1X now. Burying it. So up on 2X. Numbers haven't changed. Okay, moving on. Next stop is the 80 meter train of love. Choo choo. Here we are once again on the 80 meter train of love. 7 and about a 2. Once again, we're on 2X. Same amount of power as we were seeing before. Here's 80 meters. Hello, 111111111. Hello, 12. Let me change the display here. Menu, meters. There we go. SWRs are good. Everything's happy. Making full power. No problem. Next up, let's go there. So here we are on 40. We're on 7 once again. Now we're at 3 on the load. Once again, we're on 2x. It really likes 40 meters, by the way. Hello. Hello. 1111. Hello. Let's go look at the radio. Perfectly flat input swears. Hello. Meter's not even moving. Period. Okay. Next stop. Let's go here. Here we are on 20. Yay. Woo. Woo. Okay. 4.5 on the load. We're right there between 14 and 21. This thing really wants to have more drive put in it. It's taking off like a rocket ship. Once again, meters in 2x. Hello, 1 2 1 2 1 2. It's trying. It's trying. The reason it's not wanting to go any further than that is because the 7300 is a 100-watt fucking girl radio. Sorry. For what this package is, ICOM could have done more, in my opinion. They could have made it work good on AM, which they haven't done since the Mark II, and they should have made this at least a 200-watt unit, in my opinion. But whatever. Yaesu might take over the market. Here, let's jack the voltage way up and make the meter freak out. Here, watch. Doot, 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 doot. Doot. Almost 16 volts. Wonder what it's going to do. Hello. Guess what? Doesn't produce 1 watt more because the final section is regulated. Check it out. Hello. Hello. You think it would because it doesn't have bipolars in it. It's got MOSFETs. Food for thought. All right. Let's go on down here. Like anybody from ICOM's ever going to hear me talk about their shmew. Let's flick it over here. Let's go here. Okay, so 15. Do-do-do-do. Do a whopping 5 here. 5.2 maybe. And right on 21. So let's go on up here. Once again. Hello. 1 2 1 2. Hasn't made a watt more or a watt less on any band because the tubes are brand new and perfectly happy to do their job. Hello, 1 2. The moral of this story, boys and girls, is that the filament transformer I put in here is working like a Swiss watch. What? Cheddar? It's working great. The tubes are working great. Amp is working flawlessly. I mean, kibela, flawlessly. So, let's button it all the way up and give it its last test with all its body bits on it. What do you think? This is interesting to me. I just typed in 3-500. Okay, I didn't put the Z in there because I'm lazy and it's late. And the first thing that comes up is this. Heathkit SB221, 80 through 15 meter amateur license. Okay, amateur amplifier, 2 match 3500Ds, blah, 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 blah. 2,175.91. And what I'm doing is I just put 2 brand new 3500Zs in this thing. I was wanting to see what they currently trade for. Well, I scroll over and I scroll down. Look at this. $2,595.91. This is a refurbished unit, upgraded and tested, lab in San Marcos, California. There have been several modifications to enhance the performance and longevity of the well-respected amplifier. Modifications include true grounded grids on the tube sockets, not RF isolated. New Harbach power supply board. New Harbach metering board and relay. bias modification. That's on the metering board, by the way. That's not something special. Anyhow, $449.91 for a match set. Okay, well, point is proven. Okay, well, first off, there's a little tiny scratch that's up here. And there's a couple little scratches and nicks on the side. Other than that, the thing is in good shape. 2 brand new tubes, new filament transformer, and everything on the inside on this thing is beautiful. I think that we're going to ask $2,600 plus the ride for this thing. And I think it's worth every penny. There's no major blemishes, there's no dents, there's no dings, the fan's clean. Everything on the inside of this thing is mint. Mint. And with brand new tubes, worth it. Worth it. And I'll stick by my guns. I want $2,600 plus the ride to wherever it's going. This thing will show up in a wood crate that is custom made for it. This thing will be wrapped in plastic. Okay? Then after we wrap it in plastic, it's going to go and have expandable foam bladders that are going to custom form around it inside of its own custom commercial grade cardboard container, which will be handmade for the box. Okay? After that, then it goes into a handmade wood crate. The tubes will come separately in their own separate containers. No, they'll be in the RF parts boxes, but they're going to be double boxed on top of that. Okay? So understand, if you are on the east coast of the United States, with the cost of wood and with the cost of shipping, because it's gone up because of fuel, just saying, let's be real about it, price of fuel's gone up $3 a gallon out here. So, all that considered, I'd probably be thinking that you're going to spend $300 to get this home. Full disclosure. So, that's the budget. That's where I'm at. These are getting harder and harder and harder to find. 1, good condition. 2, tested. 3, new tubes. And 4, been through here. So, on that note, if you're interested, contact moi. Call me or text me. The first one that comes to me gets it. Gets it. And it's out of here before the end of this week. So, gentlemen, my name is BBI, and I want to say thank you. I appreciate every single one of you guys that tune in, watch, and follow along. Let's see, what's next? I think it's these two over here. You guys have a good night. I appreciate every single one of you guys. We'll see you. Click, click, click.